The proposal would completely eliminate the state sales tax on feminine hygiene products like pads and tampons. At least 10 states have already passed similar legislation, but the move could cost the state an estimated $1 million a year and another $650,000 for local governments. Now, joining me this week at the Line Opinion Table to discuss this idea are Merritt Allen. She's owner and executive director of Vox Optima LLC. Jeffrey Candelaria is with us. He's of Connection Now and a host on 770 KKOB Radio. Also with us is local attorney Sophie Martin. She's a regular with us as well. And UNM Law School professor Serge Martinez. Thank you all for being here. Merritt, let's start with you. Supporters of the plan say women shouldn't be taxed on what is a necessary item. Do you agree with that? Or is the $1 million lost override that?
I think this definitely follows, we don't tax medicine. This is, to me, a medical necessity. But I think it's very hollow against all the other tax proposals that are before this legislature. They're certainly going to make it up in spades on gas tax, all sorts of other things.
Right.
And also, should a woman seek gynecological care and go to a nonprofit medical practice to do so, she'll be paying gross receipts tax.
I see.
So I think it's kind of a hollow gesture, but certainly in line with current taxes on medicine and food, and it makes sense.
Pick up on that, Sophie, if you would.
I think it's a move in the right direction. I think it helps to address two things. One is, we have a history in this country and in this state of laws that are made by men according to male priorities. And so finally, we have a little bit more balance in our legislature. And so there's the opportunity to start looking at some of our, in this case, tax laws, but laws in general from the perspective of you know what, there are two genders and pardon me, actually more in this country, and so let's be more thoughtful about what our laws look like. The other issue, though, is that these are medically necessary items, and there are plenty of medically necessary items where there's no payment required at all under the Affordable Care Act. I don't pay for my birth control,
right.
And that is medically necessary. And so, what about these? And so, I think it's a step in the right direction. I'd like to see more movement and more areas in which this sort of thinking occurs.
Interesting point there. Jeffrey, this bill I just talked about has been tabled, debated, because the budget hasn't been debated and negotiated yet. We're still not quite there yet. But opening the lens up a little bit about tax reform in its entirety, do you think it's actually possible to get to really in-depth tax reform inside of a legislative session when all these other bills are being debated as well? Is this a possibility?
I had some trepidation. You were going to ask me about taxes. It's one of my least favorite topics in the world.
Right.
But it reminds me of when I was a sophomore at Pius and they exposed algebra to our brains. Anyway, tax reform to me it should be, at least according to some academics, about administering tax, collecting tax, having an efficient mechanism for all that. But for me, there's an absurdity to tax reform because it seems like every year it's like education. We have another interpretation of what that looks like. And you're tinkering here, some people get exemptions, you're taxing certain populations.
That's right.
It really, instead of administering, collecting taxes efficiently, it turns into
Tax
whomever's
increases.
or social economic engineering, essentially. I don't want to get too esoteric, but it's, we're going to give exemptions for some, we're going to decrease gross receipts tax, but we're going to reintroduce the food tax. I mean, in the end, isn't the net effect is higher taxes?
Right.
I think that's, at the end of the day, what it's all about. People just spin it in certain parlance to make it look like I'm favoring this, I'm favoring that.
I would argue that when the Republicans are in power, they also say tax reform.
Absolutely.
And they mean lower taxes. We all sort of try to use that neutral term.
I don't disagree with you. I think we all tinker with it so often that no one understands it. It's ineffable, it's inscrutable,
right.
And it's like trying to explain how television works to a third grader. The point is, we're making so many adjustments to it, exemptions here, raising taxes there, lowering taxes there. Oh, by the way, if you're a New Mexico family, you have 5 kids, you're going to be taxed here. If you're a single mom, you have 1 child. If it's Tuesday and it's windy, you're going to get taxed here. There's a level of absurdity that just is beyond the pale.
Serge, let me pick up on something that Merritt just kind of weighed in on as well. Is that House Minority Whip Rod Montoya has also said that he's accusing Democrats of using tax reform as a political cover to raise taxes. And is that a reasonable you know, if you're on the other side of it, and we just went through 8 years, 2 terms of a governor pledging no new taxes, she had plenty of support on that in the legislature on both sides, the House and the Senate. Is that a fair accusation?
Well, I think it's certainly, one way to spin it, if that's what you're saying.
Sure.
But lower taxes, raise taxes. Tax reform means whatever you want.
It's like using the word revenue, as opposed to.
What did they say? Revenue enhancement.
Right,
That was the big one for the last 8 years, right?
It's a beautiful term, right? It can
Yeah.
mean whatever you want.
Sure.
It can mean, like we were saying, tinkering out the margins, or it can mean throw the whole thing out and start again.
Right.
And so it's sort of a meaningless notion. What is tax reform, right? We need to get beyond that and see what is it we're actually doing.
And it depends on who's actually under the thumb of this reform. As Jeffrey just mentioned, everyone's got to carve out an exemption.
Right.
Can that really be brought to the floor and just say, you guys lose out now? You've had this exemption now for 20 years. That's it. I mean, people don't give up without a fight, that's for sure.
And I think, this is sort of heresy for a lawyer to say this, but it's too complicated, right? There's too many carve-outs. There's too many this, too many that you need professionals, you need lawyers to, can make a really good living out
That's
of
right.
finding their way through that maze.
That's right.
I think it's probably a good idea to have a regular sort of full and total reset that reflects philosophically what we're doing, right? Whether-
Accountants are the big winners here.
As they always are. As they always are.
It's funny how they don't look happy about it. They look like they're winning. They look exhausted.
I have a smiling CPA.
That's right, you're right, big checks to that CPA. Let's talk about gas tax. Is there such a thing in New Mexico as a tax everyone could be happy with? Is the gas tax it? Meaning we have some issues, we have some needs. The gas tax certainly came up the last 8 years, didn't get anywhere. Is this the time for the gas tax? Is that possible?
Not in a state with almost no public transportation. This is
Okay.
a tax that penalizes everybody. This is a consumer tax. And this is a tax and spend administration and a tax and spend legislature making sure that they're covered for what they want to do. While we are on one hand very much with the new land commissioner looking at limiting oil and gas development, we're going to make sure that no matter where the gas comes from and whether it creates jobs in New Mexico or not, state's going to get their piece of it. So. On the tax reform piece, I think of tax reform in New Mexico. Representative Jason Harper has really been working on this for years. Really meaningful, and his focus is fairness. And one of those elements includes actually a new tax where internet purchases get taxed, which evens the playing field for our local and small businesses. We might be able to keep a Dillard's here if suddenly we have to pay tax on Amazon purchases. It's not really that worth it. Maybe you want to go to the store and look at it.
Right.
So there are elements of it that make sense, but I was saying earlier, I feel like when this bill goes to committee, like everybody who goes in is going to find an envelope under their seat, and the chairman's going to say, "You get a new tax, and you get a new tax, and you all get new taxes. Look under your seat," and that includes the working poor.
Right.
I mean, the instant you get off minimum wage, even if it's raised, you're going to have a higher tax rate. I mean, really? I don't see where we're getting rid of Richardson's tax cuts on the most wealthy quickly, but we are making sure the working poor are going to get it.
There is some discussion of adding an additional tax rate for the highest earners in New Mexico, and I think that that's a step in the right direction. I mean, this is certainly a national conversation we're having.
Well, it's equitable if you're going to tax the lowest earners.
Correct. It is an interesting time because the Democrats have had basically 8 years of saying, well, we wouldn't do it that way. And then, as always happens when there's turnover of this sort, the question becomes, so how are you going to do it? And it is tremendously complex. But to Jeffrey's point, I don't think anyone in the position of setting policy would say that taxes aren't a reflection of the values of the community. I think that they very explicitly are and have been throughout our history. And so we go back to what are the values that we think are important? Is it important to help bring people up above poverty, help them to keep their money when they're most desperate about having enough to spend, and then also does it help to promote our own economy when people have more money that they can spend, not on yachts, but on
That's right.
but on fundamentals, on
That's
basics.
right. Where does the food tax fit into this? Because what I'm hearing in this whole table is unless we expand the amount of money coming in the pie, we're just going to end up in the same place over and over and over. Taxing gas, taxing food, taxing anything that moves. It just, problematic after a while. Is that the answer here, the food tax once again, or?
Absolutely not, right?
Yeah.
These, consumption taxes are always regressive, and
Right.
that, to me, is no way to run a tax code, right? No way to reflect the values we have. We're taxing ourselves here, and so there has to be some buy-in. I get that, but the place to do it is not, on the backs of the poorest people among us who are
Right.
spending the most on food, on tampons, on gas, right, as a percentage of their income. So those sorts of consumption taxes are super popular because you don't really notice them in those small chunks.
Let me get Jeffrey in
But
on,
way to
just
go.
got a minute left on this one. Some counties are for this. Some municipalities are for this. It's not as if the food tax is not wanted everywhere. How do we balance that?
Well, that's fine. But in the file analysis for me, if you ask some guy on a Tuesday, explain how you're taxed, for me, that's the point. We don't know how we're taxed.
Right.
People can't explain how
Right.
they're taxed. And maybe that's the other dirty little secret going on. These legislators are aware of that. So they do all these machinations up here. But in the final analysis, you've got to meet with your accountant, pay taxes, otherwise the IRS is going to garnish your wages. And no one can explain
Right.
how we are taxed. And it continually is in flux. It changes
Right.
almost year to year. And then you've got the layer of federal tax, state tax, which just further complicates this whole absurdity called
Right.
tax reform.
Right. That's all the time we have on that topic, but still to come on the show, the new look UNM Board of Regents face some of the same problems. So what will be different this time? We'll explore that when we come back to The Line.